Global TV begins production on Robin Hood series to reimagine classic English folk hero as a black female Gen Zer.
I hate that this is the representation my generation is getting in media right now.
The first thing I thought was that nobody from Gen X, and especially nobody from the boomer generation, should be writing Gen Z at all. Like, we talk a lot about how badly and poorly kids are written in television, and that's pretty much a constant. But if there's one thing that somebody from Gen X or the boomer generation can't do, it's really understand a Gen Z's.
Well, who does understand Gen Z well enough to write it?
Not even Gen Z.
Millennials?
I don't
Gen Z themselves?
Even millennial, I would say probably not.
Well, that kind of falls into the same pitfall as, you have to be that thing in order to write it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Like, you can write Gen Z if you're a boomer or Gen X. Just don't be an idiot about it, which is this is what they're doing now.
So when you hear this description, it is incredible. So it says, confirming that not even the Sherwood Forest can offer protection from the current state of Western entertainment, Canadian television network Global has announced that production has begun on Robin Hood, with a Y. I think I'm going to say that every time I say Robin Hood. A new small screen series which will reimagine the English archer as a young black female Gen Zer. I have okay.
Is she still English?
No.
In this?
No.
What?
Okay. So, okay.
Why would she?
Here's
not only race swapping, but nationality swapping.
So this is my thing. I know people are going to be like, but you said it was okay if you swap James Bond. You can race swap, you can gender swap, but I hereby decree that you cannot do both at the same time.
How about we just do none? How about we don't do any of that and we create new characters?
For me,
Thoughts on
that? I agree. For me, truly, the most horrifying part is the Gen Z part.
Yes.
Like, without a doubt. Like, it's going to be, hey, guys, Robin Hood here.
Also,
they're just like cat faces.
This is being created by a guy who's only done music videos. His name is literally Director X. That's his name, which is...
I thought that was so pretentious.
I like
when I read that.
I mean, he's done a lot of really, like, big name artists.
What are you, Banksy?
Exactly.
I think Banksy's annoying, too. Side note.
So
why?
Because it's just like, okay, we get it. You're anonymous. That's awesome, dude.
Not a fan of Banksy? We were talking about...
a ton of people.
Yeah. So it says it's featuring a story by Orphan Black story coordinator Chris Roberts. The 8-episode near-fi action drama. I had to look up near-fi. That was not it means in the near future. That's not a term that I was privy to before this. Is described as by Global as a contemporary reimagining of Robin Hood. As per the synopsis of the series provided by the network, in this modern take of the Robin Hood legend, Robin is a fearless young woman who is not just another superhero with abilities normal people don't have. Was Robin Hood ever a superhero?
Yeah, right.
No.
Was he?
He was a folk tale protagonist. That was never...
I think since he's as athletic, and anything to this generation being athleticism is like so mind-boggling.
Yeah, they're
or if he wears
he's got
tights,
superpowers, okay?
He wears tights, right?
Yes. Well,
so that, like, you're half the way there.
She is a Gen Zer driven by the injustices of today, who embraces the heroic, hopeful, and playful elements of the world's most recognizable folk hero. She learns to fight for what's right, to care for and lead her followers, and you know that followers totally means social media followers.
Of course.
And like all Robin Hoods since the first ballad, Robin Hood holds the power to hold those in power to account by using their greed against them to help her community.
By the way, the character of her mother is supposed to be an activist in the story as well.
Shocker.
Turning to the protagonist herself, Global explained, Robin Hood follows Robin Loxley, a young woman who's in a masked hip-hop band called The Hood.
This is racist. This is just straight up racist.
That's the first thing I said. I was like, this can't be real.
I don't often say that, like bigotry of low expectations type of thing. This is literally racist. Like, this is the Miles Morales, like what they thought the Miles Morales thing was, times 1,000.
Dude, who wants to bet that in the slogan, somewhere they're going to have Eat the Rich?
Oh, all over the place. It says she lived in Sherwood.
This is Hammer time. This is what this is.
It is. She lived in Sherwood Towers, a cluster of rental high-rises in a working-class corner of Nottingham, a near-fi city where the cost of living has skyrocketed, leaving an ever-widening gap between the rich and everyone else. The synopsis ultimately concludes that the hint towards the series' actual plot teasing when Robin finds herself fighting for her home and her family against local property developer John Prince. That's what we want! That's what we want today.
Why
we want
is
shows
the
about
bad guy always a real estate
It's
tycoon?
always a real estate agent. Nobody wants this. Not one single person. There isn't a person.
There are Gen Z black female hip hop artists everywhere waiting for their role model in this woman.
Finally.
At the very least, I want her activism to be drawing mustaches on real estate agent benches.
Can it at least be something that like resonates with Gen Z that's like somewhat nihilistic and chaotic rather than just like caping for the unfortunate? Like Gen Z is not a compassionate or like caring generation. They're a very self-absorbed and like neurotic and chaotic generation.
If anything, millennials are fake concerned with other people because they're
they
also
have like a faux altruism.
Yeah, there's a fakeness to their altruism. All they had to do here, I kid you not, just tell the exact same story, change the names, right, and reference Robin Hood in meta terms throughout the series.
Like make it an anti-hero.
Make it and then actually reference the character. Robin Hood, the stories of Robin Hood should exist within the lore of this series where she's taking influence from them.
She could, she could be conscious of the story and be like inspired by it. That's as a character, but like, why do you have to repeat everything but also pervert it into like your social justice?
I just read something terrifying from chat.
What?
They're gonna be like, it's not stealing, it's reparations.
Probably.
No, exactly.
The other thing is like the show Arrow did this because the idea that a green guy with a bow and arrow could go around and people wouldn't make comparisons to Robin Hood is insane. So in the first season, they call him the Hood, and he always makes the joke that he hates that name that they gave him. Mm-hmm. So it's like
somewhat self-aware.
Yes. The fact that it is not self-aware is why this is doomed to be an absolute dumpster fire. It's the Nottingham Towers. This can't be real.
Where is this gonna stream?
It's global, so I don't know if it's Canada only, but likely we'll get it through a third party.
If it's Canada only, that's irrelevant.
A lot of global shows end up U.S. production, like down the line. So I don't know if that is, and it's only an 8-episode order. And like I said, the director of this show.
Maybe we should do a review of it.
It's kind of like
if it comes out one at a time.
Yeah. What we were thinking of is
8 weeks of hell.
Dear God.
there's a lot of really great channels like Jail Longbone and like Az from Heel vs. Babyface that made like their bones like basically letting Batwoman drive them mentally insane from reviewing a show so awful that it literally drove them to the brink. We could do that with this show. It would just be, I mean, it's not going to be good for my mental health, but like we could absolutely do that.
I can't stand that they chose characteristics for her that have nothing to do with her being Gen Z and then played up being Gen Z.
Yeah.
Like heroic, hopeful, and playful elements of the folk hero. What about Gen Z is heroic, hopeful, or playful?
I don't know about heroic, but I have yet to meet a
irreverent, cynical,
very cynical,
chaotic, anxious. Like nothing about that is altruistic and heroic.
But what character are you going to make with
it's like an anti-hero character and not just a repeat of a folk hero that has nothing to do with the current character.
A show about Robin Hood in therapy. They could do that.
Please no. Please no.
To me, this is
doing that little dance.
A modern day Robin Hood would be like entrenched in the circles of elites and then subvert it from within.
Yeah.
How is this character going to do that?
Yep. It won't. The other thing is, like I said, you can race swap if race isn't a huge part of the character, like we talked about with James Bond. I know everyone disagrees with me on that.
You
fine.
can.
I
it's
agree.
just you are conscious of the fact that they're doing it to take white people out of movies. It's not about like propping up the characters who earned that role.
This might actually beat out the 28. Like everyone agrees that the 2018 Robin Hood movie is one of the worst movies in the last 10 years. It's really, really, really bad. The one with Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx. This will probably be 1,000 times worse than that. Like in all fairness.
I mean, Canadians are gonna make it.
Well, that's just like another on the list of their crimes. No, it matters. It matters.
They make most of our shows. Like most of our shows are filmed in Canada, in Vancouver.
Like which ones?
Pretty much any CW show, any movie that's made that these days they film a lot of the times in Canada because of the tax credits.
Oh, I would have thought not because of their stronger COVID restrictions.
I don't know how that's. I don't remember how that's changed since COVID. But beforehand, like most of Hollywood is always filmed. Like most movies you've seen, film in Vancouver, British Columbia, quite often. That's like very very common.
I think if you're talking about writers' rooms. I don't want Canadians in them.
Like one of the things they always talk about is very rare. Like most of the time, what you're seeing is like Canadian cities like taking place of American cities. Like a lot of times, Toronto stands in for like New York City in shows like Suits, if I remember correctly. Like so I don't obviously if it's a fictional town of what's it called?
New Nottingham.
Yeah, so that's not going to be It won't be American or Canada. It'll probably be generic Western city.
She has a rival rapper.
Oh my god, dude.
Dude, this is so racist. And then her mother, Lisa Michelle Cornelius, as Tressie Loxley, is an activist.
Because that's what we like. Okay. Then let me ask this question. Since you're the only Gen Z person that I interact with on a regular basis.
Okay.
There's a lot of Gen Z activists. Is that what we're experiencing? Or is it's fake activism?
There are people who have been in like my generation who have been like groomed into becoming activists. I think Tokata Iron Eyes is actually one of them. Greta Thunberg is one of them. I don't think that my generation actually cares about politics. They're very cynical about it and nihilistic.
They're getting groomed into it at a younger age.
And they're not. Yeah. I mean, I think they maybe would turn to that for a sense of purpose, but the actual issues aren't important to them. And then a character like this, who is like a freedom fighter or like a literal social justice warrior. It doesn't resonate with Gen Z. It resonates with older people who want to feel like they're in touch with the younger generations when they're not.
That's the thing. It's painful to watch older people try to write younger people because they don't know how to do it.
Going off the premise that, that Hollywood like simply isn't going to do anything new. Like they're just going to do remakes. Is there like any character that you think would do Gen Z or would do justice?
One that already exists?
Yeah, because obviously like they don't make anything up anymore. Like everything's like a remake.
House from
yeah, but like
because he's cynical and
he's super cynical.
Could it be a character like that actually plays someone in Gen Z? I don't know any examples of that.
Yeah,
currently, maybe we'll have to wait.
I know one. Daria.
That would work.
Oh yeah,
they have the look down.
Yeah, and she's just like basically like a depressed like coffee girl. I don't know how to describe her.
So all of his other like the director here, Director X,
Director X, cringe as hell.
He's got Imperfects, which I've never heard of in post-production. Mike, he did one episode of, I've never seen. Everything else
there are no big names on here.
Everything else is music videos. And he's done music videos for a lot of big-name people, but that is not the same medium.
I love that he did Hotline Bling.
Well, that all the advertisements said new Robin Hood series from Hotline Bling director.
Like, the correlation, I'm waiting.
Could a Gen Zer pull off Drake? Yes, maybe they could do that.
Definitely.
So I don't feel like there's much to say about this other than I do feel like the notion of robbing from the rich and giving to the poor resonates with a lot of people these days with the way that the media portrays the uber rich as bad while being uber rich, which is always my favorite part of that.
The best part.
There's nothing funnier than watching a bunch of uber rich people talk about how uber rich people are bad because the billionaires are bad, says the millionaire, says society. So I don't think that this is something that's I saw one comment that said we shouldn't review it. I think maybe watch the first one and see how what your mental health is looking like afterwards. But it's like dunking on this stuff also brings attention to like every time we cover it, we're giving them free attention.
Another thing is I don't think the woman playing Robin Hood looks Gen Z at all. How old is she?
She's 26 or something like that. Like she was
26-year-olds are Gen Z?
No, they're not.
They would play
They're
her as,
millennials, but it's like you're not even picking someone who's close to.
That's hilarious.
It does
that
not
age.
have her. It does not have
Pick
her
someone
date,
in their early 20s at least if you're gonna like.
it does not
this-
have her date of birth in here, but she's. I remember her from.
She looks nothing like a Gen Z.
No, she was in the show Pennyworth, which I got through one episode of and
hated
gave up
it?
on. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan.
I think if we try to watch this show, it's gonna be like a Halo where we're just like, we can't.
Yeah, well, that's
We
what
just can't.
I'm bad for this type of job because, like, literally, if something offends me that
don't
bad,
know.
if I hate it, I just turn it off.
I
'cause
like
life's too short.
cringing, but if it's not cringy and it's just boring and awful, like that, I can't get through that.
It sounds cringe and racist.
I want cringe.
And I feel like it's gonna be like, girl, we just gotta take money back to the hood from the hood.
You're literally naming a black character Robin Hood.
Robyn
Like,
with a Y.
No, but like think about it.
I just
think
thought
about-
about it. It made me spit take and everything. That's crazy.
So
The sound of it.
Would
Like,
this-
can we just?
would this have worked better in like a more unique form, like shorts on the internet, like short form social media skits as satire?
As satire, yeah, if that
Yeah.
had any like molecule of self-awareness.
Yeah.
But this is just self-aggrandizing, and it's made by old people who want to feel like they're in touch with the youth.
The director was born in 1975, so he's he's coming up on.
Bro,
Yeah,
he's Gen X.
yeah. So he's like
It's just pathetic.
he's listening to his like Rage Against the Machine albums and
I think
his,
it's pathetic when like older generations try to pander.
yeah.
Like,
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
bye.